Welcome to Adding Fractions. The unit focus for today, or I can say the aim of this lesson, is to add fractions with different denominators. So the learning objective is to add fractions with different denominators. There are two vocabulary terms I want you to take note of. First is the numerator. The numerator in a fraction is normally the top number, and the denominator is the bottom number. There are three success criteria that will help you in adding fractions. The first is that you can write the multiples of the denominators. The second is that you can also find the lowest common multiple. I normally call it the LCM. And the third is that you can even rewrite the fraction that you were given with the new common denominators and then add. Just some few concepts to take note of. The first is that you find the lowest common multiple of the denominators. The second, to note that to keep a fraction equivalent, whatever you do to the numerator, you do the same to the denominator. And the third, when you are adding fractions, always add the numerators, never add the denominators. So, how do we go about adding this fraction here? 5 over 7 add 4 over 21. The first thing I will do is to write the multiples of 7 and 21 on the right hand side here. So the multiples of 7 is just the 7 times table. So 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, and 7 times 4 is 28. Now I'm not going to write all of them. I've just done the first few. I'll do the multiples of 21 and see if I see a common multiple. So the 21 times table, 1 times 21 is 21. I stop there because I can see there's a 21 here as a multiple, and also there's a 21 here as a multiple. So my lowest common multiple is now 21. I'm going to write that 21 as my new denominator for both of them. So 21 and 21. Okay, how do I get my 15 here? Now first you have to note, for me to get the 21 here, I actually, using the times table, I actually multiplied it by 7 by 3. So 7 times 3 will give me the 21. So in the same way, I have to multiply this 5 by 3 to give me 15. Okay, now this denominator is already 21, so I really don't need to multiply by anything, but I've just written times 1 because I know 1 times anything is that thing. Okay, so I still have my denominator of 21, and here is still a 4. Now the third step is now to add, because they have the same denominator. We never add the denominators, so we leave the denominator as 21 and just add the numerators. So 15 add 4 is 19. So my addition is 19 over 21. We have a second fraction to add. 3/10 add 1/15. If you remember the steps, I have to find the multiples of 10 and 15. So let's do that on the right hand side. I'll write my LCM. The 10 times table is easy. 1 times 10 is 10, 2 times 10 is 20, 3 times 10 is 30, 4 times 10 is 40. Right, the 15 times table, I'll use mental strategies to do this. I know that 1 times anything is that thing, so 1 times 15 is 15. If I double 15, I'm getting 2 times 15. If I add these two, I'll get 3 times 15. If I want the 4 times 15, I actually double the 2 times table. So double the 30, I'll get 60. Now, I'll even stop there because I have a common multiple. There's 30 here, and there's also 30 here. So that's going to be my new common multiple. Is the lowest common multiple for both numbers. Okay, so I'll now ask myself, what will I times in my times table? What did I times 10 by to get 30? And it's 10 times 3. So I have to also, which is the 30, I have to also times the 3 by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And coming to the second one, what will I times 15 by to get 30? And 15 times 2 from my times table here. 15 times 2 is 30. So I have to also do 1 times 2 to get 2. As we said, we don't add the denominators, so our denominator will be 30. We only add the numerators. So 9 add 2 is 11. Now, what I want you to do is to pause the video here and do this addition. You have 4 over 7, add 7 over 8. Pause the video and do the work. In the next slide, I'll be showing you how I did it. Now, how did you do? Now, what I asked you to do was to add 4/7 to 7/8. The first step is to find the multiples of 7 and 8. Then you can find the lowest common multiple. So the multiples of 7, using mental strategies, 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 7, I'm just doubling the 7 here, which is 14. If I add these two, that will give me 3 times 7. Let me use this to help me do the rest. If I double the 2 times table, I will get the 4 times table. So double 14, I'll get 28. If I double 4, I'll get 8. So I'm going to double 28 to get 56. Okay, so how do I get, I've got the 3 times table, how do I get the 6 times table? If I double the 6 times, this 3 here, I get a 6. So I have to double the 21 to get 42. Now, to do the 5 times table, I normally do the 10 times table first. I know it's easy because 7 times 10 is 70, and half of 70 is 35, is here. Okay, so these are multiples of 7. Now over here, I'm going to use the same mental strategies to do the 8 times table. I know 1 times 8 is 8. Double 8, I get 16. Now if I add these two up, I'm getting the 3 times table, 3 times 8. Now with these two, if I double the 2 times table, I'll get a 4 times table. So I'll double 16 to get 32. If I double the 4 times table, I'll get the 8 times table. So let me double 32, I'll get 64. Okay. Now with the 3 times table, if I double 3, I'll get 6. So I'm going to double this answer 24 to get 48. Again, to do the 5 times table, I'll first do the 10 times, because 10 times 8 is 80, and half of 80 will give me 40. Okay, so how do I get the 7 times 8? Now, if I add 8 to this one, I'll get 7 times 8. Okay, now I can see that 56 is actually common to both 7 times table and the 8 times table, so that becomes my lowest common multiple, 56. Now, I ask myself the same question. From my times table, I times 7 by 8 to get 56. So I have to also times 4 by 8. And if I do 4 times 8, I'll get 32. And coming here, 8 times 7 gave me 56. So to get the numerator here, I have to do 7 times 7 to get 49. We normally don't add the denominators, we just write it as it is, 56, and then add the numerators. So 32 add 49, I'll get 71. So my answer is 71 over 56. Now you pause the video and go and do the work. Now when you double click to get the work, the S1 is the mild, the S2 is the medium, and the S3 is the hot. Now the medium is not that easy and it's not challenging, so kind of in the middle kind of thing. When you finish your work, now the answers to S2 are on page 2. The answers to S3 to S2 here, the medium, are on page 3. And then the answers to the hot are page 6. If you just scroll down, you see the answers. Please do not look at the answers before doing the work. Okay, just checking how the work went. If you feel confident, now I want you to call a guardian, or if they are busy, to call a sibling. Choose one of the questions that you really did well and show them the steps that you followed to get a good answer. Now, just a reflection. Were you able to write the multiples of the denominators using mental strategies? Were you also able to find the lowest common multiples? Were you even able to rewrite the fractions with a new common denominator and add them? If you did these correctly, well done. You are now able to add fractions.